All right, I'm excited to get started on this siding finally. You know, it's all pretty much ready from last year. I'm just going to put some tape on, you know, the seams. That's about it. I got some new screws though. I couldn't find enough of the kind of screws I was using. These new ones got kind of a bigger head on them, so I'm hoping that doesn't interfere with these vinyl siding. But one of the good things is I think vinyl's pretty cheesy, and I really have low expectations for how this is going to turn out, just because, I mean, the temperature swings here are pretty radical, and so I have such low expectations. I think no matter how this turns out, it's going to be fine with me. So it's kind of nice to have low expectations for once on some of this stuff. Hey, so dang, I thought this was going so smooth and stuff. But then I looked up underneath, you know, like going this way, and man, it's like it's not in the track of each one. So I'm kind of I don't know what the hell to do now. I'd have to, you know, take off all this stuff. Oh man, I'll show you what's going on with it. Let me turn I'm out of my camera's out of space again, so dang. So now that I'm looking underneath it, I mean, I see, you know, all kinds of spots where it didn't actually get in the track, you know, and so dang, now I'm gonna have to probably take everything out to get those spots. So now I'm trying to see if I can pry them in, but dang, what a pain. I'm gonna have to take all these off. I didn't think of looking up underneath, and I mean, they felt secure when I was putting them on, but must be like a middle section or something. Dang. Hey, so on these, I did have to take all those off to get these back attached, but I found, you know, you really need to, on this first corner, put these in at a real angle and make sure it catches this bottom right here. So that was my problem, because I think I was trying to slide these in without really hooking this bottom first. So anyways, I think there's just, you know, a technique to putting these things up. Now I look underneath always when I'm doing these, and it seems to be working really nice now. I mean, looking underneath, everything looks tight. So it looks pretty nice too. So I'm happy. Hey, so yesterday I went along and I didn't have a starting strip line on the front and the side. So I went along with my 4-foot level and drew a line. But I think it's real hard to get that bubble just perfect, you know. And so when I got to this door and I came both directions, I was still like 3/4 of an inch off on both sides of those, which is a lot. So I whipped out my handy dandy laser level And I was quite a bit off. And so, anyways, I was glad to get this level. I'm glad that thing was, I don't know, 120 bucks. And I thought, this is a lot of money to spend on it. But I've really used that a lot. But here's my lines. I mean, right up here was the laser, and my line using the level was, you know, half an inch off. So lasers are great. Oh, so anyways, I'm going to get the starter strip on here. I'm going to start putting this trim up around. I'm going to get my doorway adjusted a little bit. These are a little too close. I need about another ½ inch, so I'm going to move that wood out, cut those pieces. So anyways, I'm just going to start getting ready for, you know, just slapping up this siding. Hey, so yesterday I got, you know, basically almost all this done, so it turned out really nice. I'm going to put these molded corners on the edges here. So I'm not sure how it's going to fit at the very top here, so I kind of stopped right there because I kind of need to get these edges on. So so I stopped up there. It's a good stopping point on the side. And now I'm going to, I got all the wrap off this side last night. I put on my starter strip down here. So I can continue on this side, and then I can get the corners up here, see how they turn out. Anyways, I'm going to put some tape. I've been putting tape, you know, on these edges right here. I put some tape around like the wood and stuff, but the tape doesn't really stick to the wood very well. So I've been putting some tape on like this one, and then I put some staples here to hold this tape on a little better. I don't know if this is going to help or not, but you know, might as well give it a try. And I've been putting on these, so I wanted to get at least today, you know, shingles up to about here, so I can get the trim on these, because I haven't tried the trim out, and I kind of want to see how the trim goes on these before I, you know, put this stuff on everything. So so anyways, I want to get up to here today, hopefully. Try out these, you know, these two-piece J-channel things and see how they look and work. I've been taking like one of these pieces, I put two together like this one, and I put it against stuff like this, and then mark with a pencil the edge here, and then so later I can put just a regular bottom piece, because they stick out a little bit. So if you put these bottom pieces flush, it's not going to be enough room for this top piece to fit in there. So at least this kind of gaps it, you know, right where I need this bottom channel piece. All right, so I got that bottom row in. It's actually the hardest one to put in. It's that starter row. It's real hard to get these things like into there, and then once you do get it in, you got to line it up with these. There's these temperature gauges there. So you're trying to get it lined up with those temperature gauges, and you know, it'll be off, and you can't just slide it. You have to kind of take down half the piece and bump it over a little bit, and then push it up in. It takes some strength to get that thing up in. These other layers are easy, but this bottom row is kind of tough. And what's funny is the temperature gauge right here. Now these two lines are about 1/8 of an inch apart, and one of them's for 41 degrees and one is for 68 degrees. Now that's like a 30-degree difference in there, you know, and in 1/8 of an inch. So, you know, trying to get these, you know, I'm guessing it needs to be kind of halfway to closer to 68, but I mean, you're moving this like a 32nd of an inch, you know. So I don't know, you got to do your best with it, I guess. So how funny, the tax assessor came by again, and he was about the only person ever to knock on my door here, but he came by again, and you know, gosh, you know, when's this going to be done, and what, you know, kind of siding, and what, you know. But the good news is, he said, since I'm really just starting on this again, and it's the kind of the same point it was 6 months ago when he came here, he said, you know, they wouldn't tax me on it this year, and he'll see me again next year. So sounds like I won't have any taxes this year on this place, and not till next year. So that's awesome. All right, so last night I got my siding where I wanted it. I like the siding; it looks good. You know, now that I've got the technique of putting this up, you know, I like this stuff. I give it an A or something for siding. Now that I've played with this two-piece trim they got, I give this stuff like a D or an F. It just looks really cheesy, and it makes the nice stuff look cheesy. And so, you know, I was really messing with it for a while. I messed with these two boxes for about an hour trying to make them look nicer, but there's just no way to make this stuff look great. You know, and first it's kind of hard to measure because this first piece you measure 1 3/16 extra on both sides. Then these side pieces you overlap with it. But the thing is, these when you overlap it, it's never going to get, you know, flush because you overlapped it. And then, you know, you got this huge gap down the side. So, I mean, you can't really go any tighter because this top hits, you know, you can see this piece can't go any further in. It hits right there. So this piece can't go any further in, and it, you know, it doesn't cover up anything. So, you know, I think I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to cut this tab back so it doesn't hit this. So maybe this needs to be long, but you need to come in here and cut this back. Same with these, you cut it at an angle, but then you have to actually cut backwards a ways. So it's not simple to cut this stuff. Okay, so here's all I could think of. I notched out these pieces, so now it'll, you know, push back at least farther and it doesn't get hung up on the edges. So I did that to this one too. So now, you know, this will theoretically go back farther. And so I think that should work, but, you know, there's nothing in the directions about, you know, having to notch these out. And, you know, even these other ones here, I mean, even at the angle, you have to angle it, and then you have to notch it out more. So we'll see how that looks. All right, so here's after my notching. It does fit way closer. I mean, this top one still, if it could go in a little more, it'd be better, but I'd have to probably grind off the edges to get it closer. I'll look at that still. So, anyways, I think this is probably an acceptable cheesy. where before it was like, no, this is totally not going to work. But now, I mean, it looks cheesy, but kind of acceptable. But I think that's what I'm going to go with. It's just a pain to cut all these pieces with notches and stuff, trying to get stuff to fit better. But you know, as long as it looks acceptable and I don't have to redo everything, that's important. You know, so I think this stuff's going to work out when you got like a, you know, long straight piece like this and it's just covering up an edge. But when you got to overlap it for these corners on a window or something, it's going to look cheesy. But again, you know, what can I do now? I mean, I can't order new stuff. I can't. I mean, I got to get this done. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is, I guess. And I'll just go with the flow. Hey, it is a beautiful day out, you know, and I was looking at these tabs. I mean, it feels pretty hot. But I checked the weather and it's really only 73 degrees. But with the sun, you know, it feels really hot. And if you feel these panels, they're hot. So I looked at my gauges right here and I set these at the 68-degree mark when I was putting them up because it was, you know, about 68 degrees. But now that the sun's hitting them, I mean, they've expanded past this little tab they have here. And I looked at it and it's supposed to be 95 degrees. So I don't know if it's, you know, 95 degrees of these panels, which you would know. And these are going past the expansion stop. And yeah, so it's only 73 degrees and these feel hot. But, you know, I don't know what's going to happen when it's actually like 100 degrees here because it's only 73 degrees and these already hit their expansion limit. Huh. Okay, so last night was when I was showing you these things were hitting the tabs at like 73 degrees. They were hitting this 95-degree mark. Now this morning it's like it's 43 degrees. And this inner line is 40 degrees. So I think it's 40. 41 degrees. So it should be exactly at the second line, but this thing is now way, way over. I'll show you a close up of it. So, I don't know. I got the middle, the middle ones, right there. So they don't move, on both sides. So, I installed this correctly, but again, this thing is, so now once it hits, actually hits like 20 below zero. I mean, are all these going to be like off the, I don't know. This is kind of expands and contracts a whole lot more than it looks like on these gauges. So here's a close up of it. You can see, I mean, this is the 95-degree mark. Then there's a 68-degree mark where I set it at. And then this is 40 degrees. And now it's just way over here. So, I mean, this gap is pretty big right now. So I'm not even sure if I should, I probably should try moving this again. But, I mean, it was set right to begin with. So I don't know. This one right here, I mean, it's right where it should be, about 40-degree mark. So, huh.